I'd just like to say a few words before the video. It's difficult to condense a person's entire life into 10 minutes of family videos, especially for a person who had been through so much, and much of which went unseen to the outside world. We were fortunate to call Vanessa a daughter, sister, family, and friend. She touched us all in different ways. Likewise, I know that it meant a lot to her when we were able to bring her happiness, companionship, and understanding at different times in her life. But even for those of us who knew her from a young age, or who even lived in the same house as her, it could be difficult to understand everything that this illness put her through. It's important to remember the good times that we had with Vanessa, but I know that Vanessa was also passionate about promoting understanding of ME to the outside world. So while this won't be news to many of you, I'd like to take some time to talk a little about what this illness was like for her. I don't know whether her experience accurately represents those of other people struggling with ME. All I know is that for her, she suffered very severely debilitating symptoms that developed over these 15 years. From the beginning, she suffered from ceaseless stabbing migraines. Brief trips out of the house or short periods of physical exertion would be followed by exhaustion and a long recovery time. She would go weeks or months without ever leaving the house, confined to the darkness of her bedroom as her body was too weak. Sometimes tasks as basic as going to the bathroom she was incapable of doing without our help. Other times her body could enter a catatonic state where she was awake but unable to move any part of her body except her hand, and she would have to communicate by scribbling words to us on a piece of paper. She could be in excruciating pain all over her body, suffering uncontrollable muscle spasms that could last for hours and that no amount of massaging could alleviate. It could be so unbearable that as some sort of pain relief, her behavior would revert to that of a little girl for weeks at a time. It was frightening and heartbreaking to witness, but in those times of desperation, the knowledge that her pain was lessened was a comfort to us. This is only a taste of her existence when her condition was at its worst. There were times when her body was stronger. After a rough patch that might last for hours, days, weeks, or months, she might go for a period where she was able to go out, travel with family, and see friends. She treasured these moments. But these fluctuations came and went without any clear cause and were beyond her control, making it impossible for her to sustain any semblance of normality over an extended period of time. Perhaps we were guilty sometimes of forgetting too easily what she had to go through just to taste that sliver of everyday life that we take for granted. Vanessa often said that the tragedy of ME is its invisibility. Inevitably, when people would be able to see her was when she was stronger and healthier, meaning they would be left with the impression that she was perfectly normal. Yet her weaker stretches, when she was housebound and bedridden, could go unseen and unheard by the outside world. All the while, there were endless visits to different doctors around the world who could offer little in the way of explanations or solutions. The failure of treatments that had worked for others merely added to her frustration and confusion, as did the frequent lack of acceptance or even knowledge of her condition from different doctors. But even in a situation that felt so hopeless, she showed tremendous spirit and fought so hard for 15 years. There is little government funding for research into ME, and she could not rely on the medical establishment to point her in the right direction. So she and my mother had to take it upon themselves to research her illness. She was active in the online ME community, and we have been touched by the many tributes from fellow ME patients worldwide. She wanted to bring some meaning to her suffering and helped to start the crowdfunding campaign for the Microbe Discovery Project in hopes that it could provide answers to her illness or at the very least raise awareness about ME. She also decided to have her remains donated for the purposes of research into ME. Her eloquence, passion, and fighting spirit left a lasting impact on us and many people around the world. She did her utmost to hold on to the hope that she would be able to find a cure for her illness, but it was not to be. We miss her very much. She was a gift to all of us, and though that gift is now lost to us, she has left us a lasting legacy. We will all carry with us our own memories of her, and I hope this video helps to celebrate some of the happier moments in her life, but also remind us of the pain that she is now free from, but that others around the world still go through.